Welcome back. It's been a while. But last we left off, with the help of a quarter drow from the Snow Spears named Rowan, you guys were able to follow the directions left by the mysterious being talking in Aaron's head, which you soon found out to be a Rakshasa with access to spells that did not ordinarily have, perhaps. Tracking it down, he apparently had set up some sort of sleeping trap in this campsite, which managed to get Tobias, but Demir didn't stay in the campsite long enough to be affected, and Lish, being an elf, is immune to effects that would put him to sleep. A brief battle ensued in which a couple of you got hurt before the Rakshasa was forced to flee. You tracked it down to what seemed to be a tomb of some sort for 3 nameless warriors from long ago. Solved the puzzle to get inside the tomb. Left a couple of bear traps on the floor. And then we're not very quiet when you guys made your way through it, leading the Rakshasa to Dimension Door behind Levy, and gave her a bad time. He almost killed her. But you guys started to fight the Rakshasa again. Lish turning into a giant tiger, and your friend Rowan turning into a bear. You were able to defeat the Rakshasa, Aaron cleaving it in two with the spirit of his ancestor at his back. And it's at this point that Demir started to loot not only the remains of the Rakshasa, which had kind of turned gelatinous and gross as demonic entities do when they are killed in the material plane, and also managed to get some good shit out of that tomb. So you got that going for you. And with that, you guys started to head back to the Snow Sphere. Was there anything anyone would like to accomplish while still in the forest itself?
One thing that I would like to do as Tobias, after flight's over, we're heading back, he will go up to Aaron, put a hand on his shoulder and say, "You did good, Aaron. You did good."
Aaron is entirely unprepared for that, and just kind of goes, oh, thank you. Oh, thanks. And he just gives Toby the, widest smile, while his eyes are jumping around a little crazily.
Tobias will be smiling back, kind of fondly / amused.
And I think Aaron, the time to say, even if I was doing things, Toby, I never should have let let anything make me doubt you. You've never given me any reason not to trust you, and I'm sorry that I even considered that possibility.
Thank you, Aaron. That generally does mean a lot to me. And for what it's worth, I
Yep.
shouldn't have doubted you either.
Aww. I'll say, well, I trust you entirely, and I look forward to when I've earned your trust as well.
I'd say you already have.
Okay, he's tearing up. And he'll just kind of reach out and awkwardly pet Toby's shoulder in a pantomime of the little action that started this encounter.
Tobias will just kind of like chuckle, shake his head. He's just like, just get in here and we'll pull him into a side hug.
Aww. Yeah, it would squeeze the shit out of him. Yes.
Back to the camp.
All right. So, you make your way northwards. It does take you about the time you'd expect it to. Heading back towards the tundra. You guys did pick up the bear traps last time I remember. So you're like clanking your way through. Yeah, and you make your way back to the camp. And sort of near the perimeter, you see Esmeralda and Dimphna, and they both look kind of surprised to see you guys.
Ewan's starting out strong. I think he's gonna comment. Is everything okay?
Oh, well, it's just been a little while since we've seen you. I'm glad you're okay. I was worried.
Can Tobias say the password to them?
That would be for Nethai.
Oh, it's only for Nethai?
Yeah, no
Okay.
one else knows it.
Never mind.
And Esmeralda kind of looks at you guys up and down, and you will notice a couple of small changes. Esmeralda is wearing more clothes. She's bundled up than when you last saw her a few hours ago. And her hair is pulled back into a ponytail. It actually looks like there is a fresh dusting of snow over the camp. There's a certain sort of energy in the camp that you can't quite explain. And Esmeralda will say, "Hey, I'm glad you're all right. It took longer than expected, so we're sort of making plans based on that. Were you successful though?
How long were we gone?
You've been gone for 8 days.
Demira is just going to kind of like, oh.
Was the time within the temple warped? Tobias is kind of like asking the rest of the party.
That was certainly not how we experienced it.
Since Tobias said he's asking the rest of the party, he might notice that Hawk's buffering again.
Demira's going to look over at Lish, kind of like,
Aaron's also looking at Lish.
Lish's big cat. And
I like how it's essentially become anytime something weird's going on, everyone just looks at Lish and is just like, Lish, what's happening?
what it really is woman shouting at cat meme.
She's blaming Lish for the time dilation because she knows it's a Feywild thing. This girl.
Demir, if you thought for 5 seconds, you'd remember that your husband's been stripped of his powers.
You'd think, but alas.
Bold
Lish
of you
just
to
kind
assume
of-
that Demir thinks.
You know, Lish is like looking at Esmeralda and all the changes very intently, but he's not commenting on it.
I guess when told that they've been gone for 8 days, Levy's gonna she's still fucked up, but she's actually just gonna cover her fucking ears. Like, she doesn't want to hear that.
Boy.
I'm glad I didn't
Esmeralda
meet-
looks towards Levy, concerned.
Covered in her own blood from like what probably used to be at least a slash across her fucking throat, just like
She's been sort of cleaned up.
Oh.
Oh.
Lots of cat spit, you know?
But to answer the other part of your question, yes. Yes. We were successful.
All right, well, that's good to know at least. Well, in that case, I should probably tell you what's been going on in the week you've been gone. The Nethai and the Archdruidess have been sending envoys back and forth. There have been peace talks going on between our two different clans. Also potential discussions of trade opportunities, and even a couple of people are interested in discussing combining the two groups. Nethai and the Archdruidess are set to meet together in person for the first time in about a week or two.
That's incredible to hear.
I agree. I'm quite excited, to be honest. I think this could be good things, and I'm glad you're able to intervene in the way you had before. When this one wanted to attack my scouting crew, and Dimna kind of just shrugs.
It seems like we do that often. Regardless, though, I feel it would be best if we report to Nethai soon and get treatment for those of us that need it. Is he in his tent currently, or?
Nethai, I believe so. I mean, I've been helping out around camp, so I've just been keeping watch.
Fair enough. Thank you, though, for giving us an update on the whole situation around here.
Of course. And I hope that you'll find the time to regale me of your epic battle that you clearly underwent.
Oh, we most certainly will if I have anything to say about it. We'll talk
Esmeralda,
shortly.
at this point, Druid crafts a like salmon pink rose and just hands it to Levy to give her something to concentrate on.
She'll kind of like very gingerly take it and kind of just, I want to say clutch it to her chest, but she's very gentle about it, so it's more of a nestling the rose into her bosom or whatever. Just like holding it just like right here. She doesn't have the wherewithal to like thank her properly, but it's
Mm-hmm. And you get the impression that Esmeralda gets it. She knows you.
aww.
I think Lish is gonna start to wander back to their tent with Levy.
Okay. Do the rest of you head into camp?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron will follow Levy and Lish to the tent.
Okay.
Erin,
Mm-hmm.
don't you think you should explain what happened in your own words?
I suppose there have been some developments. I suppose I should. Sure, Nithai wants to know.
I'm sure he does.
And Aaron will walk back over, actually just straight up to Demir and stand next to Demir.
Okay. So, Erin, you are heading into camp. Okay. So, when you head into camp, you actually see your mother near the fire, and she looks up and sees you, and starts walking towards you. But before you can say anything, she just walks up brazenly and hugs you. And she says, I knew you had it in you, and I've been making sure that everyone knows that all these peace talks are due to your effort and your effort alone. And now you can come back. There's lots of work to be done.
Oh my god. Oh, that is exactly what she would do. Oh god, okay. That's on me. Should have expected that.
You designed this character this way.
Yeah, that's exactly what she's like. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Aaron has the wherewithal to really think critically about that right now. He's just gonna fucking hug his mom.
All right. She hugs you tight and kind of after a minute pulls back and looks at you up and down. And she's looking at you like, well, the other companions, your other companions in the Wild Roses would notice that her look seems very critical. She is looking at Erin like she is looking at something in a shop she is not sure she wants to buy yet. But Erin, this is just how your mother looks. She says, I'm sure that you have things to speak to Nephi about, especially in regards to you're coming back to lead the tribe again, and then we can reach out to the Cape Runners, see if we can repair things there.
And gonna say, yes, we have much to talk to Thai about. We've talked a bit about what plans with the tribes are. I'll talk to him and make sure we're all on the same page. And I'll find you later tonight to tell you what we discussed. And you can
I figured I would be coming with you.
Oh my god.
Aaron just laughs in her face.
I mean, honestly, I think like Demir is standing right there. She does kind of snort when Aaron's mom talks about him leading the tribe again. She's just kind of...
She looks over at you, Demir, and she looks incredibly unimpressed.
Fucking same bitch. Like,
Aaron will say,
I think honestly, Demir is kind of clocking her a bit.
All right.
Aaron will say, oh, yeah, that might be a good idea. He does turn to the rest of the group, like, my mom wants to come? ?
Tobias just kind of looks at him flatly, kind of shakes his head like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, he's not saying I don't think it's a good idea, but it looks like he's saying, I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't know if Lish and Levy are in earshot of this anymore, so
Yeah, I think
we just had a very long series of days. We're just going to briefly check in with Nephi, and any details that need to be ironed out, I'm sure you will be included. But until then, we need to get some rest. So don't worry yourself. We're just going to let him know that we're here.
And I'll turn back and say, oh yeah, that's fair. I don't think we're quite ready for a big serious discussion yet. Oh, I am tired.
I would like you guys to roll persuasion or deception based on how you're feeling these vibes.
Tobias rolled a 16 for persuasion.
Nice.
12.
Persuasion or deception?
That's up to you. Do you feel like you're lying to her purposefully?
Oh gosh, not at all.
Then it would be persuasion.
Great. That's a lovely. That's a 4.
Your guys are low enough that I have to roll. She looks a little irritated, but she kind of takes a step back and raises her hands and says, I really don't think that just sitting around is the best way to get things done that need to be done. But if you choose to be lazy about this, I will find the time to speak to Nethai in a little while on my own and prepare him for your arrival.
Did you not notice our friend over there covered in her own blood? Or your son covered in blood on his own?
These things happen. We live a dangerous lifestyle.
That
Aaron,
is certainly true.
Which means we should
But I
be
have
allowed
very
a moment
little
of pride.
patience right now.
So then I suggest you go to your tent and you rest up to prepare yourself for the conversation that needs to happen.
Certainly.
She's just gonna stand there and watch you guys.
Yep, Zamir is going to give her a good old long stare and smile, and then she is going to grab Aaron by the arm and push him forward and move him towards the tent.
Tobias
to
will
your tent or
purposefully-
to Nethai's tent?
Towards Nethai's tent.
All right.
Tobias will purposefully will walk behind Aaron, so basically he's just blocked by Tobias's cloaked form, so she can't see him.
Aaron will just say, "Oh," and then shout, "I'll see you later." As
He
he's like,
continues to stand towards the middle of camp, looking unimpressed as you guys head into Nethai's tent. And he is a bit startled as you guys made no effort to knock or anything. But he seems
Perfect.
to be talking with hang on. I am pulling up the description. With one of the members of the Oak Father's children. You recognized him. He is an older dwarf man and clearly a seasoned warrior. He has kind of like a scraggly gray beard and he has an axe on his back that as a dwarf looks kind of too big for him, but he seems to be carrying it with pride. And you recognize this man as Abek Stormblood. And he and Nethai were, when you walked in, looking at a map of the Adai forest and seemed to be discussing.
Pardon the intrusion, Nethai, but we've returned. And then Tobias will give a password, which I have it written down. It is...
Are you saying this in front of Abek Stormblood, or?
Oh, is it ABEX?
EBEK.
EBEK.
Abek.
I mean, because the whole point of the password was to ensure that we were coming back and not the Raksha. So it wouldn't matter if Ebek heard it, since it's only just
Not
needs to be used
necessarily,
as
but I thought I'd ask.
not necessarily
It doesn't necessarily matter if you say it in front of him, probably.
okay. Then yeah, Tobias will say I second guess myself, okay. Tobias will say the password to Nethi just to get that off the table. I wrote it down. It's Rosen Quarry, Safe and Infernal, Friend and Draconic, and then B in sign language.
And Nethi hears your words and he nods and he smiles and says, welcome back then. You were gone longer than expected. Did things go well? Were you able to track down the demon that you were describing?
We were able to find and hunt the beast. However, time for us was a lot different than the rest of you. For us, we were not gone for 8 days. Hell, I don't think we were even gone for 1.
That's rather odd. I've not heard of such a thing like that, unless you traveled to a different plane.
If it's any consolation, it's not that odd for our group.
Well, regardless, you have all returned then? He's kind of noticing a couple of absences.
Yes. The some of us were more injured than the others, so they went to go lay down.
I would be able to assist in healing if you would like. Otherwise, Vitatus can do the same.
I believe rest is the best remedy for now. Although we appreciate your offer.
So please tell me a bit more about what happened while you were gone.
Demir's going to kind of nudge Aaron.
And I'll say, oh, yes, okay. So, I'm not sure how much I communicated to you. So, I guess from the top. And then Aaron is going to realize that Dwarf Man is just here. And he doesn't look happy about that. But I think he's going to continue unabated. So, for a time, I've been hearing a voice in my head, talking, instructing me to do things, etc. Anyway, and what was, would it have been earlier today on our timeline? Or did we sleep between that?
For you guys, you left earlier today, and now it is evening.
All right, lovely. And earlier today, earlier today on my perception of time, apparently this was over a week ago. This voice said that you wanted to actually meet me in person. And because of all the strange things that we know to have been happening around here, what with people being impersonated, conflict being stirred up, general weirdness, where skeptical of that, but felt we had to go check it out, and figure out what was happening. And who's been talking to me? Anyway, so we headed out, and we went to this camp that I was directed to, and that was the first little dangerous situation we got in, the first trap we fell into, and we ended up fighting this. We thought he was humanoid of some race. I don't remember what. At the time, that had identified himself as being this voice, and we eventually had to chase him into this temple, where we fought again, and he revealed himself to be some sort of weird tiger cat person. I can't say I especially even now know what was up with him. I'm still kind of trying to figure this out. But he has the ability to change into people, and so presumably was doing that. And we think, based on what he's been saying, that he's been trying to stir up conflict, especially between us, and the Oak Brothers children, for some reason. Anyway, but the bottom line is that he is now dead, and so I think that problem's been dealt with, and I'm pretty sure that's the problem that we left camp to go deal with.
That's rather surprising. I'm glad that it has been dealt with. And you said it was a tiger thing.
Rakshasa.
Rakshasa.
Oh.
Well, I suppose that would explain some of the stories we have between our two clans. And he kind of looks towards the dwarf man, who like, yes, that sounds about right. The Archdruidess always said that the creature, whatever it is, made a mockery of our culture. So the fact that it could change its face and transform into something a little more animalistic, I will definitely have to bring this information back to her.
Do you think it might be the creature the Archdruidess has talked about being restrained in the forest? The one whose like bonds were breaking or something recently?
The forest has a sealant on it in and of itself to prevent, according to our tales, this demonic being from escaping. I expect that, given that you have killed this creature, although it is not my place to make such decisions, perhaps these bonds don't have to be strengthened. They're every so often, as we had been doing.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah, and Aaron's just having a small little panic attack where he's standing right now.
And at this point, Nethai speaks up again and says, well, we thank you all for what you have done for both of our clans and for the forest itself. No one has anything to say to that?
I think Hawk's still in the outskirts of the camp, honestly.
Did you not
Hawk
go
not...
with
He was
the group?
buffering. Nobody picked him up.
Oh boy.
My man got caught in a logic loop and nobody checked in on him.
Is it not just Aaron and Demir? I thought it was just the two of them.
No,
I
Tobias
think
is with them
Toby
too,
was
I'm
with
pretty
us.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, Mackenzie vanished, so.
Yeah, she had to bio real quick.
Yeah.
Demir is just going to kind of like, accept the thanks, I guess, like kind of, just nod and like acknowledgement, but it's Aaron who's kind of she's making him leave the show a little bit, but if he just keeps sitting there like hyperventilating, she's just going to be like, well, we need some rest, but I'm sure that there will be further discussions necessary. Fume seemed very interested in some discussion.
Of course. We did not break down your tent, leaving it where it was. Rest well. If you need food, simply reach out. It's the absolute least we can do.
Aaron snapped out of his little thing as soon as Demir mentioned that he and Fume are gonna have to come back and talk to Nethai eventually. And so just be like, oh, thank you. That is kind of you.
Pardon our interruption of your discussion.
Of course, I assume you have been filled in on what has gone on in your absence. We're simply discussing a potential meeting place.
And if it's my place to say so, that's great.
If you have any input, both on our actions going forward in regards to the Oak Father's children, or even on such a small scale as our meeting place, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, I think we'll be sure to to tell you any we have.
And with that awkwardness, I assume you guys head back to your tent.
Yeah, Demir is just going to kind of like, give a little like respectful like head bow to both the two guys, and my brain just farted. I know both of their names and my brain cannot. But it just kind of gives like a little respectful head nod, and then is going to like step out of the tent and like wait for the other two to leave as well.
Aaron's actually.
Oh, go on.
Aaron's actually gonna look after while Demir's leaving. He's gonna look over to Toby to make sure Toby leaves.
Tobias will also give a bow to Nephi and Epic, and then leave with Aaron and Demir.
Yeah, and then Aaron's not sticking around or anything. He just wanted to be the last one to leave.
All right.
Yeah, he's actually, somewhat proper and courteous to Nathai for once.
Your mother is still in the middle of camp. She seems to be ignoring you guys as you exit the tent. And she is sitting near the fire, sharpening her glaive.
Yeah, I think Aaron's going right on by that. For his part.
Demir is going to kind of like let Aaron go ahead and fall back beside Tobias and kind of put her arm in his and like look up at him and just, are you well?
As well as I can be given the circumstances. And what of you? Out of character question, how did Demir do during the fight?
Actually okay. She got a little hurt, but she's mostly okay. Like she got healed up.
Okay.
So she's a little rough around the edges, but nothing nearly as bad as Levy.
Yeah. Then Tobias mentioned, I'm concerned about Levy.
Me too. But I know we haven't had an opportunity to talk, so I wanted to check in with you. It's been a rough few days.
It certainly has. There's been some things on my mind as well. If there's an opportunity to do so, I'd like to ask you about it.
Of course, anytime. Demir's going to kind of like reach up and like cup the side of his face and kind of like rub her thumb against his cheek a little.
Tobias will take her hand in his, kind of press it against his cheek a little bit before giving a kiss to her palm. And then he asks, when Hawk had said those things back on the floor, the words that you said in response, was it out of anger or was there truth to
Demir is going to like her eyes are going to kind of break from looking at him and kind of look away for a moment. And then she'll look back and just, what do you think?
What I think is that I don't know, which is why I'm asking you.
What do you want it to be?
It doesn't matter what I want it to be. It doesn't matter what I want, Demir. I want to know how you are feeling. I want to know what it is that you want. I want you to do what you believe makes you happy.
Isn't it easier to make your assumptions, to let Hawk make his assumptions, to let Aaron make his assumptions? You are a good man, a kind man, a good person. And I'm glad to have you every day that you have me.
I don't want to assume while I'm with you. I want to try and understand you. But to do that, you have to talk to me. I know what it's like to have people's assumptions pushed onto you. And I don't want to do that to you.
I will probably be the one to break your heart. But for now, isn't it better to have this? I know what I am.
Tobias. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I know what I am. I know what I am. And that's fine.
What are you, Demir? What do you see yourself as?
Like I said, not a very good person. I have a very good tendency to get people hurt along the way. But I do like to think I am a good ride in the meantime.
A good what?
A good ride. For
Okay.
fun. I live to disappoint.
I suppose that makes two of us then.
I don't think that's quite right about you, Toby. Like I said, you are a good, kind man. You have a good heart, good soul, and a lot of love to give in that heart. And she's going to like put her hand on his chest.
He places his hand over hers and kind of just like presses it against it, and she can feel his heartbeat going erratic. And he says, I might not believe I'm as good as a man as you think, but if what we have is truly something that isn't going to last, if you truly believe that you're going to only hurt me in the end, then take comfort in knowing that I was prepared for this to not last forever. And that I've given you my heart. So feel free to use me however you wish. And the look he gives her is fond. Like he is genuinely saying, use me however you like.
Yeah, Demir's just going to like kind of lean up and kiss him. Just, we have what we have in the moment. No use worrying about the inevitable future.
I suppose not.
Now come on, we need to check on Levy.
Let's do that.
And Demir's just going to, she'll hesitate, like she'll have that like long slow moment where she doesn't quite pull away just yet, and then she'll pull away, but she'll keep her hand in Toby's to pull him towards the tent.
Yep, he will follow her, his hand in hers towards the tent.
All right. And you guys head back to the tent. Lish and Levy, what have you guys been doing this whole time?
Honestly, what Levy does depends on what Lish does, honestly.
I think that he gets her to lie down in his big kind of cat pillow for a while, get one big cat arm thrown over her side, kind of like licking her face and cleaning up some of the rest of the blood that's on her. And after she kind of settles down somewhat, he'll turn back into a man and see if she needs any more healing.
She is at 22 of now 42 because of the level up of her health. So she's over halfway like healed up. She's just
I'll just drop another cure wounds into her.
okay.
Nice, full heals. So that's another 12 points.
Fuck yeah.
12 points
Alright.
of heals for her.
Yeah, she's gonna kind of relax at that. Like being cleaned up is kind of nice, and you know, it's Lish, and she trusts and appreciates him and all of that. So, you know, when he's done kind of neatening and fixing her up, she's just gonna kind of curl into him like she kind of wants to just doze off.
Yeah, and he'll just like have an arm around her and tuck her up and let her rest.
Yeah, she's just gonna kind of might, you know, pat around for like a blanket or something, because it's the tundra and it's cold as balls.
Oh yeah, I mean,
There are plenty of blankets.
bundle up.
Oh yeah, she'll kind of make sure, you know, even though she's like totally out of it, she's still her. So she's gonna she's gonna like make sure that one corner of the blanket's kind of tucked up over his shoulder a little bit.
He's surprisingly warm for the temperature of the environment.
I'd like to
Heck
bring up a little idea. DM, would you say that since it's colder, if they were expecting a return, would they have supplied the Rose's tent with perhaps a couple extra blankets, maybe some furs?
Well, there were already plenty of blankets and furs in there.
And
Okay.
they had their winter wear and everything. So
Okay. Okay. Just a thought.
yeah, she whatever blanket is, you know, wrapped around her, she's gonna like share with him, and kind of she might nod off, start like going.
Yeah, and he'll just sleep.
All right. So
By the time
there.
anybody else is back, she's probably like dozing pretty solidly.
So for elves, there are a couple of different methods of trancing. There is a method where you focus on a memory and just play it over in your head and just examine it, think about it. There is the type of trancing where you're thinking hard about something, not necessarily a memory, just more like you're trying to solve a puzzle. And then the other type of trancing is more of a meditation where you just let your mind go blank. So you, being an elf, you can incorporate any of these sorts of trancing, and you are capable of sleeping, but like, why bother?
Lish
elves-
doesn't do that.
Elves will
Sleep.
sometimes sleep. Well, they sleep when they're children because trancing is something that has to be learned. And so really it's when adult elves are really sick or hurt that they properly sleep.
Yeah, but like Lish never really was like an elf child, so he's
Yeah.
never really done
Yeah.
that. So he just kind of defaults to.
Yeah, so you're aware of everything that's going on around you, and you've never really been in a situation where you've actually had to sleep before.
Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah. But as such, you are perfectly aware of when your companions come back in.
And his eyes kind of open and look towards the door, ready to shush them if they're
Oh,
being loud.
I kind of wanted to do something, but I can do it here.
Yeah.
Well, is everyone else coming in yet, or no? Or
Whatever you want.
okay. I'm gonna say like a little while after Lish and Leave just sort of zone out. Hawk opens the back flap of the tent, sort of gently tosses his bow aside, and then falls back first onto the floor. And I'm gonna say that when the hood falls down, Biog sort of just pops out.
Lish like looks at you like through like a crack in his eyes, just like if it was on the cusp of being too loud, just kind of like annoyed a little bit, like like
He's metal, but he's fairly padded, so I'm gonna say it's like a notable wump, but not a super loud one. Especially since he took off anything that was on his back.
Yeah, you get the
And
vibe
he's sort
that
of
he's
just
on the cusp of shushing the hell out of you.
he's sort of just like and he like pulls off his mask. And then he sees that Levy is just conked out. He notices that you're not exactly entirely quote unquote awake either. But he knows your deal, so he knows you can hear him.
He's looking at you. You can see.
Yeah,
his
exactly.
blink of his
So he
eyes,
says more
like,
quietly this time. 8 days. How the fuck?
Lish just makes a low noise. Like he heard
Can't
you.
believe Hawk said the fuck word.
Listen, he was never restricted from saying the fuck word.
Like, finally, he said fuck.
So bad.
Lish just makes a noise like,
If I even have a brain, it is not meant for something like this. Ugh. Sorry, you're resting. I'll let you do as much. Yes, precisely. He sort of just lays there. He doesn't bother putting his mask back on. You have a feeling he's sort of entered his sleep mode, akin to what you do. All right, now I'm done.
yeah, Lish is just going back to chilling.
All right. So is there anything anyone would like to accomplish for the rest of the evening?
Yes.
Well, you guys coming back to the tent. I mean, are you gonna wake Levy up?
I mean, Demir isn't going to wake Levy up. But she is like when they get into the tent and she sees the like cuddle puddle, she's going to like kind of tug Toby over to the cuddle puddle, and sit herself down near Lish's head, and like with her free hand kind of absent-mindedly scratch behind his ears.
I thought he was a dude now.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a dude.
Demir does it anyway.
Never mind.
He's manlish right now.
He's a man.
Demir, do it anyway, you coward.
I mean,
No, Max has a good
honestly,
That's a good point.
I was going to say, like, I don't think that actually changes anything. The only difference is that, like, her scritch behind his ear is like more like she tucks a piece of hair and kind of like gives him a little scritch while she's at it, but like not so obviously that she's scritching behind his ear, you know? It seems like it's all part of the same movement. And just like very quietly, in Sylvan, she's going to say to him, do you want to try and find a good spot for the Aurora tonight?
And his eyes kind of open at that and like wider, and looks over to her. Just like, We were going to try and get higher, weren't we?
Or just somewhere to watch.
He seems like he does, and he kind of looks, but he like looks to Levy where she's like resting on his arm. Like, I have a cat on me. I'm incapacitated.
Yes, you have to chop off your arm.
Yeah, chop my
Gnawed
arm
off
off.
like a wild animal.
There's a crazy lady conked out on my arm. I can't move.
If you want me to go, I'll have to bring her with me.
Is Toby in the tent? Has he settled in somewhere?
I think we're all in the tent. Like,
Yeah,
I'm assuming this is
Tobias-
evening and we're all hunkering down, napping.
Tobias is in the tent when him and Demir enter. He'll kind of settle down next to Levy, watching over her, giving her a glance over and stuff to make sure, like, are you still? Looks like she's still doing okay. He's not gonna wake her because she needs her rest,
Mhm.
but he will
You
be
can probably
staying
see
close.
that Lish got her like cleaned up and healed up a little bit. So at least there's that.
Yeah, you look a little bit happier at that. He's like, good. She's looking a little bit better.
Lish is gonna like gesture with his hand to Tobias to come closer and kind of roll Levy a little bit against him to kind of have Tobias take over.
When she's moved, she will like kind of go like do the whole and then kind of go because she doesn't want to be moved. And also she doesn't like she's assuming because she's being passed off somebody's leaving and she doesn't really want that, but also like she's still half asleep, so it's not like she has an argument to make.
Yeah, no. From
She's
one
also
warm-
going from one warm person to another warm person where she'll also be wrapped in an extra cloak.
Nice.
Lish
Yeah.
tucks in.
She'll snuggle up to Toby and kind of like tuck her face in his neck and just kind of like wiggle until she's all comfortable, like totally comfortable again. Just kind of conk back out.
Lish will kind of like pet both of your heads in turn and then look to Demir and kind of take her hand to pull himself up and head out. of the-
Aaron would be home by now, right? Because he was in front of Demir and Toby. So I think as Hawk is leaving, Aaron's gonna.
Hawk?
I
What?
guess. Sorry, that was a mistake on my part. Lish, as Lish is
Okay,
leaving.
thank you. I was confused.
No, Hawk, you're being kicked out of the tent. Sorry.
No, that makes sense.
Hawk said, fuck, he has to leave now.
He can't wash his mouth out with soap because he doesn't have one.
He just like rubs the soap bar on his
Just like
face.
smearing Dawn on his faceplate.
Anyway,
Anyway.
As Lish is heading out, Aaron's gonna push out like, wait, Lish, before you go.
Lish stalls, kind of looks at him.
Aaron rummages around in his backpack and pulls out the key he was able to get earlier, smoking, and says, I don't know how long it's been for this, but I don't know how much time has passed on this, if it's gone bad or not, but
You aren't gonna sample your own goods, Aaron. giving the pixies spoiled milk might be worse than not apologizing at all.
yeah, he'll sniff, he'll check, but he's not gonna drink any of it.
Slurp.
Sure.
Lish kind of like looks at this container like, what is this?
Can I roll like a perception to see if this is spoiled or not?
Sure, roll perception. And remind me, this came from when you were making the cheese with Agnes?
Yes. It's been
Okay.
on me for like a day. Over a week has passed in general, and I don't know what timeline this cream is on.
Okay.
what timeline? What split branch is this cream on in the timeline metaverse?
Okay, roll perception.
That's a 13.
Yeah, it's fine. It was on you. All good.
Thank God. Okay. Yeah. He'll hand it. He'll just hand it up to Lish, like for the pixies.
Lish kind of holds his hand out like he's gonna take it, but he actually kind of pulls it back and actually just pulls the pixies out of his hair so that they're on his fingers and holds them out towards Aaron's milk offering and sees what their reaction is. Because they've been mad at Aaron for a while, so I don't know. We'll see.
I'm gonna say Aaron can roll a persuasion check.
Yes.
God.
Because there's no apology with this cream, it is just cream.
That is a 10. Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can sweeten the pot somehow because they look dubious.
Oh boy. What does Aaron fucking have? God, I don't know what he would try to do for that.
Gris looks like they want to come, like maybe take a look at the milk, but Bright Mellow kind of like tugs them back and is like tapping his little foot, like little crossed arms, like
Little tiny like flip off with his pincer thing.
little bug.
Oh, I think I know what Aaron is gonna do. Okay.
He pulls his wings out, scaring them again.
Aaron is going to reach back into his pack and wrestle around a bit. Yep, that is something Aaron would do. Okay. Just trying to think through his psychology for a second. Yeah, and he is actually going to pull out a button. And this is the button that Aaron got from, I believe, Peak.
From Peak, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Aaron's gonna pull out the button he got from Peak, and set it to the side of the bowl of cream, and say, "I'm sorry, and I would like to be friends again." And that's, in order of the items he's offering.
I think Bright Mellow's like, he'll are you like holding the milk and the button out? Because he'll like, little Bright Mellow will like go and like step over onto your hands and he'll go and pick up this button the size of him practically and look it over. He'll bite it to test the quality. And he squeaks out something in Sylvan, and then all their like little wings start going excitedly, and they all just like swarm the cream like locusts.
It's gone faster than you would expect it to be gone.
And you don't know where the hell they put that button because they don't have pockets big enough for it, but it's also vanished somewhere into the ether. But they like fight over it for a hot second. but it seems that they have appreciated your gift, and they are so bloated on cream, they like drunkenly fly up into your hair and just kind of pass out.
Yay! Yeah, Aaron will slowly lay back down. trying to not disturb them as much as possible.
Lish looks at Aaron and just like, I don't know. His face is pretty unreadable as far as that goes.
Aaron will just he's on the ground now. And Aaron will just like swept him. Have fun.
Sleep well. And head out.
While the pixie interaction was happening, Demir kind of gathered up like a couple extra blankets and furs and stuff
right.
that weren't actively in use, and packed them up and went and got some food and that type of stuff. So she's
All right.
yeah. Whenever Lish comes back.
Yeah. I don't imagine it takes too long. The pixies make short work of it. Lish just kind of like lets them go to Aaron.
All right.
And Lish will come over to her and take her hand. Where's the best spot?
I don't know. Demir is going to kind of like look around. Is there anyone like somewhat familiar to her that's out and about, or are most folks like in their own tents? That was a question for the DM.
Well, if there's plenty of like hills around, snow drifts, snow banks, there aren't really any grassy areas. The aurora borealis doesn't seem as bright this evening, which tells you probably there aren't as many nymphs dancing, but they're somewhere. They might be more distant, but maybe you can find a nice spot on a snowy hill where you can look at the distant aurora borealis.
Yeah, Demir is just like when she sees where the lights are, she's just kind of going like, I think it's that way.
All right. Do you want to walk or do you want to run?
Let's run.
And Lish is gonna hold her hand up and give her a little kiss on the knuckles, and he's going to cast polymorph on her.
All right.
And make her a big woof.
Woof!
All right.
And then Lish is gonna wild shape into a big wolf. And we're gonna go up to the hill.
All right.
Hump, hump, hump.
You find a nice spot on the hill.
What does
Yeah,
that wolf look like?
Okay, so she's like a big old brown, like chocolate brown, chestnut brown, patterned wolf, except for her left front paw, which is almost up to the elbow white, like stark white. And like the minute she's a wolf, her tail comes up and it kind of wags a little when he becomes a wolf. And she absolutely like does the like wolf like sticks her nuzzle in his face to just, or her like snoot in his face, the way like just like in kind of greeting, and probably they do that circle thing that dogs do.
So I would like to note that due to the nature of polymorph versus wild shape, Lish, you maintain your mental stats. Demir, your intelligence is 3 right now. You're just having a good time. You are a dog out in the snow, and this is the best thing that's happened to anyone ever.
Yes. Yeah, no, like it's ridiculous because, like, you know, like where Demir as a person is kind of like cool and standoffish and like, you know, like doesn't really show how she's feeling about anything in the moment. She has 3 intelligence right now. She is a wolf. She is very enthusiastically having a good old time.
It's amazing what can happen when you don't overthink every single last thing that you do, huh? Lish is just going to like nip at her, and he's going to run off towards the hill, and playfully
Demir will give
follow.
chase.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably like, I mean, she has 3 intelligence, but she knows like the intent of why she came out.
Mm-hmm.
So like probably even like when we get to the hill, she's going to like stop and sniff and look around and see if there's like, if she can, I don't know how to like put this in a way aside from like pick up the trail of the Aurora, if she can like, if they can get closer, because I think polymorph lasts for an hour.
Polymorph lasts for an hour, but at this time of night, you're just judging from the distance of the Aurora, Lish, you would know that part of the way that Aurora Borealis nymphs work is they like to travel. They don't like to stay in one place for long. So while you're able to see the Aurora Borealis, if you'd want to actually get to them, you would have to travel for a little while, especially since you've been gone for a week, apparently.
Yeah, I don't think Lish is trying to like get up to them. If that was the case, then he would have made them both flying creatures.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to get close enough to have a nice view and enjoy the snow.
Yeah, basically.
The little hill you're on is perfect for a view.
Yeah, and so I guess for the rest of her hour of polymorph, Demir is just kind of doing the woof flop on top of Lish. It's gross and embarrassing.
All right.
And then when it drops, we just get wrapped up in blankets.
Yeah, that's why she brought out the blanket. So once the polymorph drops, she kind of like, she was like mid like on the rolling in the snow, and then she like poofs back into a human and is like, what was I just doing?
Such dignity, much dignity.
It kind of like flushes a little, like gets a little color in her face, and kind of like sits up and like immediately starts like pulling out the blankets to be like, I'm not embarrassed, I'm just blankets, it's cold.
Bundle.
And like after they've like kind of got a little like blanket thing, Demir is going to like offer a little bit of food even though she knows he won't eat it. She just kind of like, she got some food for herself and she got a little bit of food for him, and she's going to set it besides her on the blankets. And you know, Vervain, a while back when we were in the city, I found these. And Demir is going to pull out 2 of the bottles of Dream Mist that she has.
And what was that?
Seems like it's fun.
Lisha's gonna take one of the bottles and kind of look it over. Can I like Arcana check or just see what this is?
Sure. Roll an Arcana check
That's
or
a
a history check.
6 on the die for Arcana, so that's a 10.
Okay. You would know based on just the nondescript nature of the vial it's in, and the circumstances in which it was found, that this is an illegal substance of some sort. The liquid within, it kind of got like purplish white coloring to it, and a pearlescence that shines in the light of the aurora borealis.
Lish looks to Demir like, do you smoke it or?
You're muted.
I don't know. I think you drink it.
Would you like to try?
Yeah.
Lish unstoppers one of the bottles and takes a sip, gives some to Demir to take.
Okay, so there's really only enough in each vial. It's not very big. They're like this big.
That's
There's
fine.
only enough for like a sip each in a bottle.
That's fine. We'll do
Yeah.
both of the bottles.
Okay.
Yep.
So as you take the Dream Mist, it feels a little tingly going down your throat, and then sort of a numbness takes hold in that same area, and then radiates out to the rest of your face and body. Your eyelids start to droop, and when you close your eyes, you start to feel like you're floating a little bit. And at this point, I'd like you each to roll 1d6.
Oh boy.
This is just to see how long it lasts.
3 for me. Oh, Same.
It's the same. So for each of you, the drug trip will last about 24 minutes.
Aw.
That's all right.
So do you give in to the floating sensation?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
You both close your eyes and allow yourself to drift away. And let's start with Demir. Demir, when you open your eyes, you find yourself somewhere completely unexpected. You're in a cabin somewhere. It feels soft and rustic, sort of like how you would expect Tobias's home with Offsea to be like when you've heard him describe his childhood home. You are utterly alone right now, but you hear the sounds of nature from the window outside. And the air around you is soon filled with the smell of homemade bread. There's a loaf in the oven, and you're currently in the process of kneading another. You're humming a little bit of a tune that sounds vaguely familiar. You're actually using your magic to help with the baking of the bread. You eventually realize that the tune you're humming is one of the tunes from a Feywild dance. Once both of the loaves of bread are done, you walk out of the cabin that is your home, and you grab a horse that was hitched outside, swinging onto its back. And you start to ride through the woods, only subconsciously realizing the plants around you are the kinds you have seen within the Adai forest, mixed with some of the ones that you remember from the Feywild. You follow this path towards the city, and the architecture itself sort of reminds you of Mahaba, with tall guard towers, pointed rooftops, and colorful murals. The city itself is draped in multicolored cloth that hangs from buildings and has red cobblestone streets. You make your way first to one building. You're knocking on the door, and Tobias answers. You tell him that you're here to deliver some bread, which he accepts. But before you leave, you pull him down closer and kiss him deeply, his arms wrapping around you. Something similar happens with the next loaf of bread, but this time it's Levy who answers the door. And once again, you share an embrace and a passionate kiss. As you and your horse make your way back to the woods, the sunset is bright and vivid, dazzling shades of orange and violet. You are met in the woods by Vervain, his eyes dark, his crown of ice on his head, and his wings folded against his back. He offers you his hand, and the next thing you know, the two of you are dancing next to a bonfire, surrounded by Fae. There's a gentle snow falling from the sky as the two of you dance, and it's all bright and disorienting, and it feels more meaningful than it really is. You're laughing and you're happy, and there's a warmth about you as you feel safe in Vervain's arms, despite the snow surrounding you both. Lish. When you open your eyes, you realize you're standing in one of the rooms in your palace in the Feywild. But that's not what the important part is. You're looking down in your arms, and there you see a baby. She has light brown skin and a small tuft of dark hair that you can tell is going to be curly when she grows. Her eyes are a bright, true pink as she looks up at you, her lashes long. Her ears are pointed, and she looks for all the world like a half-elf, except for the slight iridescence of her skin, betraying an otherworldly nature. You know in your heart that even though she's mortal, she'll be a powerful sorceress when she's older, and you can't wait to see it. You talk to her softly as you rock her in your arms, imagining all the wonderful things in her future. The development of her magic, the ability to explore both the material plane and the Feywild, and more. You're just thinking about how excited you are for her to be old enough to have freckles. They will look just like her mother's, you're certain. When she laughs at something, you say, you're surprised but delighted. You immediately call Safira and enthusiastically inform her that the baby just laughed for the first time at 12 weeks. The two of you spend the next few minutes talking to her and making silly faces to see if you can prompt her to do it again, this time in front of her mother. When she does laugh again, Safira smiles wide and presses a kiss, first to the baby's nose and then to your cheek. Safira takes the baby from you and starts to rock her, singing a lullaby in Mojave. You give each of them one more kiss before heading from the room. Several of your Fae friends are waiting for you. Does the group of you leave the glacial palace and head into the woods? You spot a creature that resembles a great blackened asp with smoldering skin and serpentine eyes. It slithers as confidently through the air as across the ground, melting the snow around it. You blow your hunting horn and lead the members of your court in a chase after the creature, eventually tracking it down and killing it in a glorious fight. Returning to the court, you and your wife take turns holding your daughter, lounging together while you watch the Aurora Borealis nymphs dance before your twin thrones. And for both of you, at the end of each sequence, your vision goes, and you simultaneously hear a feminine voice whisper in your ear, "Find me." You catch a quick glimpse of a circle of 7 stars. And it's at this point, I would like each of you to make a charisma saving throw as you come back to consciousness.
Charisma save, you said?
Yes.
Oh, that's about appropriate. I think that's a 13. Let me do math.
I got an 18.
18.
13.
Okay. Lish, as you awaken, you feel comfortable and safe. The drug was soothing to you and calming. Demir, you said you got a 13?
Yeah.
So once you awaken, you're looking up towards the sky, and you're finding that it looks kind of boring and drab comparing to that of your dream world. You're just constantly thinking about how much you wish real life was more like your dream world. And just real quick, please roll a D12.
Okay. 2.
All right. So you're feeling salty about this essentially for the next 24 minutes. And just because you're pining after this dream world, you will be, for the next 24 minutes, you will roll all dexterity saving throws and checks and initiative rolls with disadvantage.
Yeah, valid, because I think basically like when Demira opens her eyes and they're in the they're just out on the tundra and the sky is dull and the cabin is gone and like the cold and reality just sets back in again, she just starts like sobbing.
Lish is kind of more or less startled from his reverie, and just kind of turns to her and wipes the tears back and shushes her, asks her what's wrong.
I, hold on. Oof, yeah. Demir, like, Demir kind of leans into him just straight up and is just like trying real hard to pull herself together. And she does sort of but she's not so sorry. Basically, like she kind of like leans like her face like right up into his chest and like lets him soothe her down. And when she's done sobbing her heart out, she just kind of like scrubs at her face, and that felt so real.
Lish just kind of nods against her.
I thought we were back in the cabin.
What else did you see?
Your wings. God, I miss your wings. And Toby was there, and Levy. Not there in the cabin, but close.
It's a pleasant dream.
It's not. It's not.
It's not pleasant. Would going back to the cabin be that bad?
No. It's not what I deserve. But Vane, I'm sorry.
He just shakes his head at her, just kisses her forehead like, what do you have to be sorry for?
This is all my fault.
It's not. It's not.
It is. I know there's no point of arguing with you, but it is.
You and I cannot stand in the way of godly machinations, Demir. It isn't you causing these larger things.
She never would have done this if you hadn't brought me there.
Kind of looks thoughtful at that. What makes you say that?
She hated me, and I don't blame her. I was an outsider and an interloper,
Did she say
and I didn't even want to be there.
Did she say something to you?
No, but it was obvious enough.
Fiola's always been a bitter winter. That's not your doing.
I wish you could just see that you would be better off if you had just left me. Your pride is your undoing.
And so is yours. Darling Demir, Saphira, I am old enough to know what I want. It was not impulsiveness. And irrationality that made me want you. I do not know how to make you see what I see. Lord knows I've tried. You don't have to be deserving of what I give you. All you have to do is take it. I never gave Fiola anything, and she thought she could just take it. But what I have, I offer freely. And I've made promises to you. Anything that's happened to me is because of me. It's not you. It could never be you.
You're such an idiot. And she's just going to kind of like return to sobbing into his chest.
And he'll just hold her for a while.
And then when she's done crying a little bit more, or maybe not even, she's going to cast polymorph on herself and turn herself into a rabbit.
The small little rabbit. Just
Oh,
the tiniest bun.
Pulling and Caleb turning yourself into animals so you don't have to feel things.
Demir and Lish are not too far off after all.
What kind of bunny are you? What do you look like?
She looks like oh god, like one of those little desert bunnies, with like the big old floofy ears,
Big hair.
like yeah,
With
not like
one
quite
white-
a full
One white paw.
left, right, yeah, left front paw, and kind of like sandy brown still, little little big eared bun.
Lish suddenly losing the woman. It's just this little rabbit, like up and just kind of like cups her little bunny form to him and tucks her into his shirt, like wraps a blanket kind of around his shoulders to help keep her warm, and just kind of sits there for a little bit. And I think he'll sing her a little elvish song, little Feywild song to help her kind of settle down and sleep maybe a little bit, before bundling her up and walking back to camp.
Just real quick, Lish, roll a d20 just to see how something shakes down.
And then we get mauled by animals. That's a 17.
17. Demir, he is humming the exact same tune as the one that you were humming in your drug trip.
I am a bunny. I have no intelligence. My little nose is going twitch, twitch, twitch.
Bunnies can't cry.
But yeah, you two just hang out there for a while.
Yeah, I'll get back to the tent before the polymorph drops so that I can deposit a little bun somewhere in the blankets. Probably maybe between like Tobias and Levy, little nest. But
Levy, in her sleep, will snuggle the bun.
All right.
That's just gonna get
And when it
awkward.
inevitably turns back into Demir as a whole fucking person, she will also, in her sleep, snuggle Demir.
I was gonna say, like,
Smush her in
Demir
between her and
suddenly
Toby.
poofing back into human form is probably gonna be a little awkward for Tobias, especially.
But like,
I don't know.
you have like a tiny little bunny like pressed between two people, and then suddenly it's a
And suddenly,
person just like. I like to imagine it's like when you have like two things right next to each other and you try and fit something in between, but like the two things are so tight together that like the thing that is trying to fit in between just like pops up.
Cracks her skull on Tobias's jaw.
Toby
God.
and Levy wake up in a pile, and like Demir's just stacked on top of them like a little block pyramid.
Anyway.
Aaron,
Why, yes.
have you been sleeping, or are you staying up? Or are you doing anything?
Yeah, he had more stuff he wanted to get done tonight. but I think with the pixies having settled down into his hair, he is not going to do anything that's going to disturb them. So I think he's been asleep.
Okay. So
Lish is not, after depositing Demir, Lish is not going to sleep. He's going back out into the woods for a bit.
all right.
Suspicious, ma'am.
All right.
And he's gonna go fuck Aaron's mom. JK.
He shows back up in the morning and he's doing the walk of shame thing and he's just like, call me dad, and Aaron is just like,
He's got
Lish
his
shows up
mom
in-
shield.
Lish
No,
shows
no,
up in the
I
morning
imagine Lish just like saunters into the tent, just looks at Aaron and goes, "Who's your daddy now?"
Lish shows up in the morning wearing a
Congratulations,
piece
I'm
of
your
fur
new
that was
dad.
previously on Aaron's mom.
like Lish and Aaron get into like a tiff later that day, and Lish is just like, I knocked your mother last night.
Don't talk to your father that way.
Aaron,
just
you're
shows up in
grounded.
the
Get on
tent
top of
doing
the
the walk
fridge. I hate this fucking family.
Lish shows up doing the walk of shame from like banging Aaron's mom, and he's just like, you're grounded.
Zach.
Again, just Lish shows up in the morning with a new piece of fur clothing.
Got like a bra hanging on his head.
I was thinking like a waistlet or like a scarf or something, but sure.
Wait a minute, that's my mother's bra.
I imagine Aaron just goes, "Did you and Demir go out into the woods to bang?" And then Demir's like, "That's not my bra." And then Lish just like smiles. Aaron's like, "No."
I mean,
Two bangable females in this tent or in this camp.
So-
Lish is going to go into the woods. He's gonna summon conjure animals and have just a little pack of wolves with him. And he's gonna be a dire wolf, and he's gonna go hunting with a pack of wolves and kind of settle into the part of the drug trip that wasn't fucking painful to experience and hunt something.
okay.
And just after he and the wolves hunt something and the spell ends, he's just gonna lie on his back in the snow for a while and try and sort through his feelings a little bit better. Just
Lie down. Try
It
not
starts
to cry.
snowing
out.
a little bit, and the snow just falls on your face and does not melt.
yeah, and he'll settle out there for a while and maybe perch up in a snowdrift and finish his meditation. Not far from camp, just
Okay.
needs a minute.
All right. Aaron.
Yep.
Oh.
Mm.
So as you settle in the tent, it's it's warm, it's safe, and when you dream, you find yourself in the Adayi forest, but you don't know exactly where. You seem to be standing on a deer trail of some sort with a cairn not too far away. And it's clear looking at this cairn in particular that it is very old. And looking at it, you look at the cairn and you blink a couple of times and Arald is standing next to it, but he seems different. He doesn't seem like the tall, imposing figure that you had pictured. He's not the shining beacon of leadership and strength that you'd believed. Instead, he simply just seems to be a man. His skin is bronze and muscular with a few tribal tattoos, and his angelic blood is evident in his glowing golden eyes and how the scars on his arms seem to be silver. But overall, he's just a man, one who is actually even a couple of inches shorter than you, and he just looks remorseful.
Aaron, he's gonna. Can you talk?
Could you repeat that?
Can Aaron talk?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. He's gonna say, "That's you, isn't it? That's the real you."
I'm just as real as you are.
I can't say as I've felt particularly real lately.
I have called you here because I would like to apologize.
Aaron fucking blanches at that. It's like, for what?
I'm sorry that you had to bear the brunt of my mistake.
You.
I never intended for any of my descendants to still have to deal with Dalhul.
One sec, I'm writing that down. That was the Shasta that you made a deal with?
Yes. I had made the deal with the Rakshasa out of desperation. I wanted to make sure that our people would be safe after the disaster that drove us out of the Caldera, the Storm Peak Mountains. And I realized my mistake during the conflict when I saw the ferocity of Dalhul in battle. I thought he was simply a man, and I had only wished to defend my people from the Lycans and not drive them out entirely. But the creature, he was slaughtering them.
Because that was a conflict he was stoking, one he wanted.
I tried to warn you of him, of the danger. I sent you the dream, but I was limited in this capacity due to Dalhul's continued presence in the forest.
Yeah, I should have been able to pick up on that. It was not what I was expecting to hear from you, and I didn't know how to take it because of that.
It is not your fault, Aaron.
He's just
This-
kind of retreating into himself.
This whole thing was my fault, and my fault alone. I made a deal with this creature without really understanding who or what it was. And when I realized what had happened, what I had done, I fought Dalhul, but I was unable to defeat him. So I merely drove him deeper into the forest.
Where he's been stuck since then.
And Arl kind of looks at the caldera, the cairn, I mean, and then looks around at the trees. Says, I did what I could to try to understand the forest. And I tried to instill that respect in our fellow tribesmen. And at this point, he looks at you and meets your eyes, and you just catch a glimpse of Dalhul in the woods on the day of your ceremony, setting fires. And then you are brought back and looking at Arld again. This is not your doing.
I can't help but think so. I was instrumental. I know how. I'm still trying to work things out, but there was a reason he spoke to me, and I listened to him for a very long time. Even if it wasn't, oh God, even if it wasn't a response to me, even if the fire wasn't a punishment for me, I was a part of that, and I don't know, and I'm happy. Thank you. Um, I'm happy that it wasn't doing that, but I'm still pretty uncomfortable having been a tool in it either.
It is the burden of mortals to be pawns to forces outside of our control. He used me. He used the Oak Father's children. And he used you. To what end, I'm not sure. But Dalhul is the only one to blame.
And I don't think he responds to that. I think he's just nodding and cried. Well,
I would also warn you that creatures like that, I suspect, cannot completely be killed, and I beg you to be cautious.
I'll Aaron just looks straight up disappointed at that news. And he's gonna say, "Okay, I'll be sure to keep an eye out. And I promise I'm going to figure out what all of this was about."
You do not have to promise me anything, Aaron. Your life is your own. If you wish to figure it out, that is your decision. Do not do anything because of me or for me. I am dead. I have been dead for centuries. And though I am bonded with you, and I may lend you my strength, your life is your own.
And he's nodding. And he's gonna say, "So that is on purpose. That is something you are here because you want to be, and not that wasn't something else that wasn't supposed to happen to me."
I am helping you because I wish to.
Aaron's gonna nod. Yeah. And then he'll turn up and actually look at Old for once. And his eyes he's still crying. He's still crying up a storm. But his eyes are bright. And he's gonna say, "Well, I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to know what happens to me and why. And I thank you for all of your assistance throughout my life, and him doing that."
Are you still speaking? Because we can't hear you. You might have
Ooh,
glitched
okay.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just saying, "Okay, this is something I still want to look into this for me. And great great having you here."
At this point, Arnold approaches you, and he embraces you in a very grandfatherly way.
Oh,
You feel safe and warm and cared about. And then Arnold disappears, leaving you next to the cairn. And looking at the cairn, you suspect that this, wherever it is in the middle of the Adai forest, this is where Arnold has been buried.
all right. Aaron's gonna look around and see if there are any loose rocks about.
There are a couple.
All right. He'll go probably just to the closest one, and pick it up, and yeah, set it on top of the cairn.
All right. And once you place the stone, that warm and safe feeling persists as you wake up in the tent with your friends.
Yay! Oh, that was awesome.
What are the rest of you guys doing? Does anyone else have anything they want to do this evening before morning?
Since I can't shake my head.
All right. So next morning comes without incident. How's it going?
Hawk's going to slowly push himself up and do a visual check-in on Levy. He doesn't want to wake her, but
I feel like, I don't know, she's probably waking up around the same time as everybody else because she conked out super early, but she was super tired, so
Mhm.
makes up for it. So she'll kind of wake up, and because I am going to presume that her last like functional memory is like having her fucking throat slit.
oh god.
And she's gonna kind of go and feel that that's fine, and kind of look at herself and see that she's been like cleaned up a little bit and she's not like just covered in her own blood. It's not flaking off. And I assume Demir, the human,
It's like snuggled up tightly next to her. Yeah, probably.
is now there in a pile between her and Toby, but she probably still looks kind of like juxtaposed in between an existing.
Just how
Demir
tear
is
stained does her face look?
Oh yeah, Demir.
Oh man. I mean, like, I feel like she fell asleep as a bunny, and when she popped out, she didn't really stop sleeping. So she's just like planking across the two of you.
All right.
Levy's like, is Toby awake or is he still like out?
He probably starts waking up around the same time as you guys and stuff. And when he sees that Levy's awake, he'll kind of whisper, "How are you feeling?"
It's about to ask the same.
She's gonna kind of glance over at Hawk to make sure that she's like, yeah, oh yeah, you're there. Like acknowledge his existence. And kind of she's still gonna like rub at where, you know, the wound was and kind of go, we didn't all die, did we?
I don't think. No, no one died.
There was too much hesitance. Toby, did we all die?
DM, did anyone else die?
No, did we all die? She's asking if she's dead and everybody died with her.
No one.
Tobias. No, none of us did.
She's gonna kind of take this long, deep breath, and whatever part of Demir is closest to her, she's gonna kind of pat. I'm assuming that's like her back or something, just like pat shoulder.
That's a
Leg
good
or
question. Is she face
something.
up or face down?
I was going to probably predict face down.
Okay.
The
Kinda makes
back then,
sense.
she'll just go.
And Demir's just kind of going to like stir a little bit, like peek an eye out at everyone, see that they're awake, and then like bury her face, like rub her face a little bit more into the blankets.
Evie will tuck her.
Like
in.
she's up, but she's not going to be moving. She does like kind of scoot off of Levy and Toby so that they can get up.
Levy's gonna.
Tobias does like reassuringly kind of run a hand through Demir's hair and stuff because he knows she doesn't like mornings.
Get this girl some coffee.
Levy will make sure that Demir is tucked in. And she's gonna look around to make sure that everybody's there. So take stock of like, where's Lish? Where's Erin?
I think Lish and Demir were the only people who left during the night, right? And they came back.
Yeah, Erin's in bed. Lish is the only one gone.
Okay, so we're wait, Lish is still gone? Oh, right, because he just went in the snow, right? So we're missing Lish, but everyone else should be here.
In that case, she will sit up pretty quick and kind of, do another like glance around of like, Lish made it back with us, right?
He did. He left during the night.
By himself?
I think so.
She's gonna kind of look over at Toby like,
You want to go look for him?
fear.jpg.
I will go and see if I can find him. And Tobias will head out to the tent.
She's going with him.
Hawk's tagging along. He's gonna bring his
Okay.
bow just in case.
Demir is
Yeah,
going
Tobias
to
has
like
his own gear and stuff.
Demir kind of like watches them go out of the corner of her eye, and then like when they're gone, she'll sit up and like scrub her hands over her face and try and make herself somewhat presentable and like wipe away the tear stains and all that shit.
I think if Demir's staying behind, Aaron's also staying behind.
While they like head out to go find Lish, Levy will kind of like take Toby's hand in hers and kind of like squeeze his hand, just like kind of reassuring herself that, she still has a physical form and she's not fucking dead. And also Toby's here and he's not fucking dead.
Yep, Tobias will reassuringly squeeze her hand back and keep holding her hand while they go searching for Lish.
So where the fuck is Lish?
He's not far off from camp. He's like pretty darn close to camp. But he's just kind of like leaning against a snowdrift next to like a tree or something, looking kind of asleep. And if you notice, like across the clearing, there's like some big old carcass of some deer or something that's just like torn open like across the way. And it looks like it was torn open by a lot of things, not just one thing.
And we find him okay, right? DM?
Yeah, he's fine. He's trancing, but he hears you guys approach and kind of opens his eyes and perks up.
Levy's going to just relax as soon as she sees he's unscathed.
I take it you're quite all right?
I'm fine. Are you well?
Yes, but Levy and by extension the both of us too. We're worried that you didn't come back.
Hmm.
Was
Didn't
something
think
wrong?
so. It's a new day.
Insight.
Tobias would also like to do an insight.
Roll an insight check.
Hey, guess who's also doing an insight check?
Yeah, go for it. Let's roll deception.
That's not an answer to his question. Hawk wants an answer.
16.
Oh,
Three dice or
no.
normal dice?
Oh no. Uh-oh.
I'm gonna do the 3 dice. That is a dirty 20.
Nice.
I
Toby,
got a
what did you get?
7.
7. Toby.
Yeah, I was typing a thing and I didn't want to fucking
Okay.
drown everyone out. Tobias is a dumb bitch and got an 11.
Still higher than my 7.
So, Lish, how you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah. fine.
Is he? Is he?
He doesn't look happy. He looks tired-ish, but well enough. I mean, it seems like something's bothered him, and that's the reason why he didn't come back last night fully after dropping Demir off. Usually he'd come in and cuddle up with everybody, but clearly he needed some time to himself for whatever reason, and whatever that reason is unpleasant or whatever. He doesn't look happy.
Levy's gonna kind of tilt her head and ask, do you need more time to rest out here then? We just wanted to know you were safe.
No. He'll kind of start to shift and stand and
Inside again.
brush snow off of himself.
Inside again.
Your insight carries.
Okay, yeet.
He doesn't need to rest.
But like, does he still need time?
We still need a bit of alone time, perhaps.
Seems
It looks like we have
earnestly
something on your
happy.
mind.
He seems earnestly glad to be around people.
Sorry, what was that, Mackenzie?
Tobias will say, "You look like you have something on your mind that's bothering you."
Mm-hmm. You say it's a new day, but clearly something happened last night.
Lish seems resistant to kind of get into it. Oh, it was fine. We saw the Aurora Borealis.
Levy's gonna kind of shift back on her heels and take a deep breath and go, well, whatever's bothering you, if you decide you want to talk about it, you can speak with any of us.
How
She's
is
gonna kind of like stare, just like
Lish is not making he's kind of brushing himself off and looking into the woods, looking at the carcass from his hunt last night, which is pretty gory. And he asks you, how is Demir this morning? Did she wake fine?
She's still back in the tent. Looked like she needed a few more minutes of sleep.
I tucked her back in. She's all right.
Seems relieved at that.
Tobias will reach a hand out to Lish.
Levy will mirror this motion.
Hawk would mirror this motion, but he knows Lish only has 2 arms, so...
He pops a third arm out.
Just bursts out of his chest, like
I am
I mean,
Cthulhu
technically
now.
he has a third that you could grab.
no. Stop.
Not a third arm, though, unfortunately.
What?
Yeah, he'll come over and take Tobias's hand and Levy's hand and just squeezes them.
When Lish takes Tobias's hand, Tobias will lift it and place a kiss on the back of it and kind of murmur to Lish and say, "You know that you can trust me, and that if there's something that is burdening you, that you can confide in me." Okay.
Lish just kind of sighs and shrugs his shoulders a little bit and it's just complicated.
I can only imagine.
What makes it complicated?
I'd be doing a disservice to Demir if I spoke too insightfully. Do you understand what I mean?
I'm not sure that I do.
Levy's gonna nod, like, yeah.
Some things between us are not for me to get into.
And what are your own feelings on the matter?
He just looks tired, like reminiscent of when he was telling you a bit about himself during bath therapy back at the mansion. Just that kind of torn feeling between like love and frustration. It seems more sad right now than anything.
I see. I'm sorry. And he pulls Lish close to him, wrapping him in kind of like a one-arm hug, tucking his face under his chin. He says, at the very least, I hope you can find comfort in knowing that I am by your side.
More than you realize. And he kind of squeezes Levy's hand and tugs Tobias's head for a little kiss on the cheek and lets himself be held for a little bit longer than normal and kind of pulls back.
When Lish kind of lets himself be held and all that, Levy will definitely actually let go of Lish's hand that she's holding and kind of hold him instead. And in his head, he will hear, let me try and put words together really fast. I know the sentiment she wants to convey, but I don't know how she's going to say it. Give me a second. Give me a second.
If you are doing what you
Yeah,
What I
the
think you're
telepathy
doing.
once a day thing.
you can also use that to convey emotions, if that helps any.
Yeah, it does.
You can just project feelings
Yeah.
into Lish's head.
Lish is going to get a feeling of not love, but something kind of like next to it. Just affection and care. And he will hear in his head, you don't have to handle everything alone. Just remember that.
Lish kind of startles a little bit.
That's right. Not everybody knows she can do that.
Just like, I'm sorry, what?
I think that's your first time using it.
Second,
think
she
so,
used it on
too.
Aaron to get him to stop screaming in the woods.
That's right. That's right.
Hmm. She's not terribly
Oh, wait, no,
invasive
you're
for
right,
a
yeah.
telepathic lady, so
Yeah, Tobias feels him kind of startle and like he looks over at Levy and kind of like gives her like a curious look, like
she's gonna kind of like she's kind of trying to hold it back, but it's too much to fight. She's gonna just kind of start she's gonna go from like trying really hard to like looking like she's trying really hard to to keep a straight face to just kind of grinning, and then she's gonna kind of wink at him like, Lamau, I could do this all along. I just haven't.
The power's been inside me all along, Lish. You've got no idea.
he seems like you know, like
Little mischief to her.
well, once again, Levy surprising me.
Full of surprises over here.
Oh, surprises. And he just kind of nods. Just kind of pulls back a little bit and seems to think for a minute and shakes his head and kind of just like, well, shall we? Kind of gestures back towards camp.
Let's not keep Aaron and Demir waiting for too long. Though while we're on foot, I do suppose I have 2 small confessions to make, nothing grave. One you're already aware of, Lish.
Lish
He sort of motions for everyone to start
Walks in.
walking. He'll talk on the way.
Levy's gonna kind of raise her eyebrows at him like, huh?
Eh.
Say what, robot? She doesn't say that. This is fine.
Confessions of a teenage robot.
Like in the back of her head, she's like, did he get eyes?
Where are we
Confession
pissing off
1, I
today?
grew eyes and a mouth overnight. No,
Ooh.
no.
I'm a real boy.
Geppetto would be so proud.
God.
I
Your
grew
eyes in
this-
your mouth.
I grew this body doing nothing but sit-ups.
I did
Wait, my
despair
first
fuel squats until I grew flesh. Okay, but the actual things though. Firstly, though I've already told you this, Lish, I've come to regret what I said before we came into the mountains. And I don't think anyone else has known that besides you and Demir. I don't know what happened last night or what is exactly bothering you, but I want to believe that you and Demir are both good people, even if she gets in the way of herself a little. I tried to apologize her up front, and I was told to, well, go away, let's say. She used much harsher words than I just did.
What did you say?
I was sorry, and that she has consistently been proving me wrong ever since I said that. It's plain to me, and it's plain to see that she does care. And you care too. The lengths to which you made sure that Levy was all right after we tangled with that weird backwards hand cat thing.
Rakshasa.
Is that what they're called? Okay. After the Rakshasa, well, there's no doubt in my mind that I was anything but wrong. Well, no. that I was completely wrong. Words are hard. Did you know that? He
Words
says,
are hard.
the slightest hint of sarcasm. But yes, I just wanted to make sure that more than just you two knew that.
Well, Lish and Demir caring about us and not being the terrible, selfish people that you accuse them of being.
Yes, I
wasn't
regret
exactly,
that. I've been regretting that every night, so.
It wasn't exactly news to me, Hawk. But I appreciate you making it clear that you no longer hold that opinion.
Yes. That was the real importance behind me saying that, I believe. I just hope that she'll be able to forgive me in time, though I've been told that's going to be quite the journey.
Can Lish make an insight check to how Tobias and Levy kind of react to Hawk saying that again? If you can
Go for
get
it.
like an impression of what they think about Hawk's statements.
Make an insight.
Let's see. Oh man, I've been rolling like shit today. That's a 14.
Levy, are you trying to hide how you're feeling at all? All right. So that's not bad then. Levy, how are you feeling?
Levy's truth was telling the truth when she said it's not news to her that like Lish and Demir give a fuck. And she's sincere that she's glad that he's come to the same conclusion, and that's her genuine belief that even if they're complicated people, they're not completely selfish, and they do care about the party. And she's of the mind that she's like so deep-seated in that conviction that it kind of comes off as like, you know, actions have spoken louder than words to her in that department of like, yeah, like Lish has always been one to take care of others and all of that, and she's kind of just like, fucking duh.
Just like, I knew this already, but thank you for saying that you think that now.
Yeah. Thanks for catching on, Hawk. Very cool.
It's about fucking time.
Basically.
And how about Tobias?
What would I have to roll if Tobias was like hiding a bit?
Deception.
Deception. There it is. I can read.
Not the hardest to beat a 14.
18.
Oh, yep. Hard to say.
Tobias's face is an expression of almost. Actually, no, because he rolled an 18.
You don't have to tell me anything. Unless you want
I'm
to.
like trying to think how to word this.
You rolled an 18. Lish isn't really getting anything from you.
Mackenzie wants to leave an impression.
He has a slight strained smile on his face. And that's about it.
Related to that second thing, I will admit that I'm a little, what's the word? I think jealous fits, but he looks over at Levy specifically when he says, it's very painful being created to help people and not being able to do anything when something happens. He looks over at Lish and says, like, now that B isn't with us, I have a feeling that things are only going to get harder from here. And I guess I'm worried too that some things might become too much. And as much as I want to help, I am not very good with magic.
Are you looking for lessons or?
I'm not sure if there's lessons that could be given. That's part of my dilemma. I only ever learned how to do what I can do because of very thorough instructions from Rosa.
I grew up learning how to harness and control my own magic alongside Poet learning how to use it in the first place. I could possibly assist. Possibly.
If we can, if that's such a thing is possible,
And Royas,
I would appreciate that.
And the city of Royas does have an entire institution.
Very true. I think perhaps we should look for Poet first, though. And who knows, maybe he'll be able to help too.
Perhaps. She kind of, one of her hands kind of goes like to the where she keeps the letter like tucked up against kind of just her person. It's tucked in.
Well,
Lish is,
sorry
like,
for the sudden.
rubbing, like the bridge of his nose. Like,
Sorry for the sudden, dump, but I figured it was important to bring up while it was still on my mind. Gods know there's going to be a lot more things occupying it in the future.
No, you have a good point. B isn't here anymore, and not all of us are exactly built to be doing heavy healing, so.
Mm-hmm.
just like, I can heal.
Yeah, but you're not a cleric, so.
I mean, druids can heal too, I'm pretty certain, but Hawk doesn't want to leave that responsibility squarely on Lish's shoulders.
Yeah.
Especially since he's mostly a dog.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
Dog
I
slobber
homebrewed
heals
an
all
item for healing. You'll get it soon.
Ooh.
Or die.
But yeah, no, like Levy's like, I mean, you have a point. Good to err on the side of caution. And are they about back to camp in the tent by now?
Definitely.
Cool. Well, on that note, I guess she's gonna duck in there. And is everybody awake now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Question.
How? Oh.
I was just gonna ask, how does Aaron's hair look this morning?
Best it's looked in days.
Yeah. Okay. We love to see it.
The mats are out. The mats that had somehow appeared over just the past couple of days.
Mysteriously, completely of their own accord.
Yeah, your one dreadlock. That was your entire ponytail.
Oh my god, the pixies felt in his hair.
Three strand braids, but like dozens.
When Levy gets back in, assuming everybody's at least sitting upright.
So that was a 26 on Demir's deception check to look like she didn't absolutely sob her heart out last night.
Yeah, you're pretty much good.
So-
You're good.
Image
You're
of
fine.
composure, everybody.
Yeah. She's just kind of like having her normal sleepy kind of morning, it seems like. And probably is just about getting dressed and like heading towards where food would be by the time y'all get back.
Yeah, as you are getting ready to step out of the tent, Levy steps in.
And when Levy steps into the tent, assuming it's at least marginally warmer than the outside tundra, she's going to look to Erin and reach into where she keeps the letter from Poet, and she's going to look to him and say, just note that whatever's in this letter, because I did promise to open it at the end of all this conflict. Whatever's in this letter, we will finish whatever is to do here first.
Aaron's fucking vibrating. Aaron's like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, this is happening. Yeah, and he's gonna
And
say, yeah, thanks.
And she's
Definitely.
gonna go sit next to him, and she's gonna break whatever seals on that letter.
All right. So you open up the letter, and I will send you what it says. It is up to you if you read it aloud or not, or if you keep it to yourself.
Well, let's fucking see.
It's also 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we should. I was
Yeah.
thinking,
So
like,
this is the
I want
last
to keep
thing.
going, but we
I am
probably
aware of that.
okay. I figured you were, but
And as she reads, here we go. She's got a page that's been torn out of a book. There's on one side, on the back of it, basically, because the letter is written on the back of this page. On the back side, there is a poem. And it's one of his favorites, and when she sees that, she starts tearing up, and then she flips it over to read what he actually wrote. And as she reads what he had to say, she's just crying freely. And she shakes her head when she's done. She says, "Stupid. Fucking idiot."
sort of like inquisitively tilts his head, just like,
Is it good news? Okay.
She's gonna sniffle and well, worst case scenario, he's on another plane. Best case scenario, we have to go back to my hometown.
And that's where we'll call session.
Neither of those are good options.
No.
Ah!
How can you do this to us?
I think Levy got the scenario swapped.
No, because the best case scenario is that they go back to they go back to their hometown. Poet's like, where the fuck? And she has to kick his ass for Pippin.
You know, that's fair.
But thank you all for playing.
This was such a session. Oh man.
So much
I'm
happening.
emotional today.
Gotta
Yeah.
finish so much stuff and
So many
get to
like
the
Got some,
whatever's
We
next.
got some more leads and some good closures. Man.
yeah.
the next thing eventually.
Hey, so is it 9 a.m. on a Saturday again yet?
Right.
Thanks for playing, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for DMing and thank you for
I am
writing
filled
this.
with dread,
I'm
but
going
also
to,
with excitement.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have my head stuck in this document for a while.
Oh man.
See you guys next time.
All right. See you guys around. Have a good week.